Well, hello everybody, it's Jimmy from Stuart Arts, and I'm pumped up about wood turning. I've done 3 or 4 projects here recently, a couple of canisters, a little bowl, and a lot of ceiling fan chain pulls, and then I made some handles for my lathe, which I'll show you later. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what I'm calling the Ugly Wood Chunk Challenge. My friend Jim, he went over to the Palm City Millworks and dug some scraps out of their cutoff bin for me, brought them over, and in the pile was this thing here. And it sat here for a week or so, and I kept looking at it, and I kept thinking, what am I going to do with that? And this morning when I woke up, I thought, you know what? There is something awesome inside that ugly chunk of wood. So I brought it in today, and I cleaned it up a little bit with the bandsaw. I took some of the edges off, and I thought this might be a nice finial of some type. So I'm going to sketch something out, and I'm going to challenge myself to see if I can produce a piece that is anything close to what I have in mind. Well, here's my ugly chunk of wood here. It is African mahogany, a challenging wood to work with, but I'll tell you, if you can work your way through it, it really turns out beautiful when you're done. And so I thought I would try to turn some kind of a finial like this, and I went in and drew this, and then looking at the blank that I've got here, I realized I want this thing to be fairly long, so this will probably be a good deal slenderer than what I'm showing here. So I want to end up with a little dowel on the bottom of it, maybe a ½ inch or so, and so that'd be just in case I ever find a practical use for this little finial that I'm going to make. I like to take my lathe and drag it outside on nice days like this. It helps keep the mess down a little bit. So this is my setup, and I've got this thing between centers, and I'm just going to use the spur drive here to turn this. All right, it's coming along pretty good. Just using a large spindle gouge here. I am just scraping the heck out of this just to get it down to its rough form, and we'll do the finer work later. I'm just trying to get it to where it's round in every section, and I should be getting pretty close here. Just a little bit left on the bottom, but that's going to be the tenon. So this thing's going to end up being real long and slender. So down here at the base, this will be this bottom here, and then this will have a slender taper all the way up to the ball. I have the cutoff tool here, and I'm just using this to kind of demark where things start and stop. Just hogging out the big wood. It's still very clunky looking, but you can start to see the rough shape of it. Well, what do you think? I think the ball is too big. This has got to be turned down some more. I've got to turn the curve on this. This is looking pretty decent. But I'll probably go deeper with that. And I've got to, of course, turn my dowel down as well. But so far, so good. I'm pretty happy with this. Just a little bit more. I think the ball is still just a little bit large, so I'll probably turn that down just a little more. Well, I don't want anybody to think that I am using excellent technique here. I've been doing a lot of scraping here today. I did some bevel cutting on it, but it's just not my comfort zone yet, and I'm just so afraid when I get this far along that I'm going to end up getting a nasty catch. So it's a little bit of a chicken thing on my part, but this round nose scraper has been one of my friends here on this job here. But you know, when I've got this much time into a piece, I really don't want a chance having a big catch. So that's me. I'm a big chicken, I admit it. So I think that's going to be pretty nice. I think that's about as much as I want to take off of this. You know, I just want to talk about sandpaper for a second. I had a couple sheafs of some cheap Chinese stuff, and I'll tell you what, the stuff would fall apart after just one use. And this past weekend, I picked up a couple sleeves of this 3M stuff, and this is 1/8. This is 120 I'm using here, and I mean that This stuff is very durable by comparison. It's like the paper has some kind of a emollient or it's plasticized somehow, and it lasts a lot longer than that Chinese stuff. So that's something I've learned here recently, and I'm not going to skimp on my paper anymore. So guys, I can learn. I had some comments on using wool and my technique for sanding, and I got to thinking about it. And I thought, you know what, if I'm going to sand while on the lathe, I am going to do that on the end of a big stick, and my hand is not coming anywhere near the medium that I'm sanding with. So thank you for your comments on that. I hope you approve of this method. Alright, I've gone ahead and put a coat of wax on there. I'm learning that, you know, when this thing is fully supported, that's really the time to do a lot of the heavy lifting with the finishing and sanding. So again, I'm using a linen bed sheet, but I am on the end of a stick with this, just in case it should decide to get wrapped around there. And my fingers are nowhere near the work, so I feel pretty comfortable with this method that I'm using here. Comments on that? Oh, look how pretty that is. Alright, we are chucked up here, and I am just going to scrape the tip of this real lightly to try to get that spherical shape. And you know what? I'm not even super comfortable with the amount of load I'm putting on this. It's not quite centered. Well, I ran out of film in my camera. Had to run over to the Fox Photo kiosk and get some more film, and back in business here. So sorry I had to finish it off camera, but there it is. It turned out pretty nice. I may build a piece of furniture just to put under this thing. Anyway, Jim, thanks for bringing me that big ugly piece of wood. Did you ever imagine that this was inside there? Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you'll give me a like and a comment, and if you're not a subscriber, I hope you'll consider becoming a subscriber.